Okay, hi there. I've been asked to make a video. I'll just put the request actually up on the screen. Can you make a video on how to create a slow motion function using a timer that deactivates the function when when the time runs out, and using a player button input, hold and release for manual activation and deactivation? Okay, so we're sort of looking at how to slow an object down, how to slow something down. We could do this globally, and we could slow down global time, or we could slow down the time of particular things for particular different effects. Now, I don't actually know what's required here, but they're very similar in the way that I would approach this. It's relatively straightforward. There's a bit of it's a fair amount of blueprints and a few different things and components that need to come together. So I'll walk through doing it, and I'll try and talk and explain as much as I'm doing as I go along. If anybody, I mean, this is going to be fairly advanced. This is a second year request. My suggestion for everybody would be to go to the Getting Started in Unreal tutorial series. Have a look down at Intro to Blueprints. That's your first sort of step. And then go through all of these videos here. This is sort of the fundamental foundation learning for what we're about to go over. And then you might want to also go through the Intro to Blueprints, or the Blueprints Essentials, part 1 and part 2, which again goes through all of this type of stuff. Now, if you're familiar with C++, if you've done some of this stuff before, then what we're actually doing is relatively basic, you'll be up to speed fairly quickly. But I do suggest you go and have a look through these blueprint tutorials, because a lot of the functionality is in UE4 is based around using the system, so it's pretty much a prerequisite of getting much stuff done, or anything done. Having said that, I think everybody should go through these. I think they're really important. They're very good training materials directly from Epic. So it's made by Epic, and they'll take you through everything right from the start to the finish. And as I say, that provides the foundation for everything that we're going to be doing during this tutorial. So, can you make a video on how to create a slow motion function? Right, okay, so I'm going to open up the starter project, and let's see how we're gonna approach this. I think the first thing we need to do is think about making a couple of objects, one that's at normal time and one's that's in slow motion, so we can, or one that we can slow down, so that we can actually demonstrate this in action. And so let's think about putting that sort of stuff together to begin with. Let's open up the starter level. Yeah, so we've got that there. I'm going to go 5. This is the general starter project. I'm going to save that level, save current as. I'll call it time dilation. You obviously call it what you want. And right, let's get some form of plane in there. Okay, so I'm going to bring a plane in. I'll put it at 0, 0, 0. So I'll just click on this little arrow, set to default. That puts everything over there where it should be. Let's scale it up. Let's put it to 20. Make it a bit more, 50. Okay, so we've got this here. And we've got our basic shape material on it. I press G just to get out of game mode, or to go into game mode, so it will just hide the things that are not relevant. Okay, so let's start thinking about some objects. I'll just keep on saving this as I go. The first thing I want to start to think about is adding a general object that will bounce, that we can use as a sort of a standard, an object that's not going to be slowed down, as it were. So for this, I'm just going to take a sphere and bring it in, and I'm going to put it there. Let's position it appropriately. 0, 0, 0. And then I'm going to put that at minus 200. So it's just slightly away from my 0, 0, 0. Actually, for now, we'll put it here off. So that's 0, 0, 0 right there. We should see, for the plane, the pivot still at 0, 0. So now I'm just going to offset that by 200. Oh, not that one. Don't want to do that. Make sure we've got the sphere selected. So we'll offset that. Put it in minus. On that side. And then we're going to have a blueprint, an object, an actor that we can control. Now, think about your third-person character from the third-person template. We've got that here, third-person blueprint. Blueprints, we've got third-person character. Bring that in. Let's put that to 0, 0, 0. Yeah, we got him standing there. Now, this is a blueprint. Okay, click to edit the blueprint. If we go over here, blueprint class. Okay, so parent class character. So this is a type of object, a class of objects that we can control. Obviously, we can use the keyboard to control it. I'm going to create the same, but this is going to be a sphere, same as this one, that I can control over time. So a demo object. So I'll do that down here. We'll call this, I'll create a blueprint class. It'll just be a standard actor, so something that can go in. I don't need these, all the interactivity or some of the other things that that you'll use, but it's just a standard actor, and I'll call it BP, just so that I can search for it. Sphere. Okay. So BP sphere. If I open that up, we get to the blueprint editor. Now I've got a viewport and an event graph, so some place where we can put blueprints in there, some scripting. Construction script, we won't worry about that, but we've got a viewport. Now in there, I want to put a sphere, the same again, same as we've just dragged and dropped, and we'll use a static mesh. And the mesh we're going to use is just drop that down, a sphere. Now, there we go. View options, engine content, because it's part of the engine, and we want a static mesh, which is the sphere, which not that one, data smooth, engine messaging. So look, I'm holding out engine basic shapes. There you go. That looks like the one we need. Oh no, it's not actually. Engine basic shapes. Right, we'll go for that one for now, and might have to change it later. Engine basic shapes. Material that goes on it. Let's have a look and see what's on the other one. So we've got a basic shape material. Drop that down. Basic shape material. Okay, so they should look relatively similar. Yeah, so we'll save that. I keep on saving everything as quick as I can. And then as often as I can, I bring that in, put that to 0, 200, minus 200. So that's the blueprint. That's the static mesh, just drag straight in. Yeah. Yeah, oriented at 0 at the moment, so that's fine. Do they look the same? Have I got the right sphere in there? Yeah, they look the same. Okay, so that's cool, just so that we can have an appropriate comparison, one to the other. Don't want to do that. Click on the guy, third person character, bring him up. I've got set grid position, snapping, put it on 10. For some reason that went up to 100. Put that down to 10, that's cool. And then here, let's bring that up, and then I'm just gonna, that's my sphere, press end, and that will snap it to the floor there, and you can see that's 50. Yeah. Okay, so that's 50. Now this one over here, yeah, I'll put that to the same, 50. Okay, so they're exactly the same. If we click on play, yeah, we've got that. I'm just going to possess this guy so that we, when we click play, we'll see it through the player's third-person character's perspective. Auto-possess player, player 0. Save, I'm going to bring him forward, rotate by 180 degrees. Click on play. Right, there we go. Okay, so we've got these two objects. One is a sphere. Yeah, one is a blueprint. Okay, the blueprint we're going to look to control, and we will edit that over time. This one is going to do its own thing, which is fine. Now we want it to bounce. So I'm going to, we've set it at 50. That's its sort of resting point. So I'm just going to add 200 on there. Now there's a reason why I'm doing this. I'm setting these particular values. Bring that at 250, just so I know when I'm calculating, it's 50 off for the center plus 200 across the Z, so going up across the Z axis, that one. So it makes it easier for me to just calculate these things. So I've got 250 there. That's it. Make it movable. That's fine. Okay, we'll come back to that. Right, with that selected, dismiss that. I'm going to simulate physics. Save. Play. Right, so that's going to drop, but look, it just falls and drops. We don't want it to do that. We want it to bounce. There are ways we can play around with gravity, etc. But what we can do is put a material on it. So I'm going to create a material. It'll be a physics material. So we want physical material here, and physical material, common classes, we'll pick that, and I'll call it bounce. Give it a PM underscore, just so that I know exactly what type it is. Blueprint, physics material, and physical material override, and collision, we'll put that into there. So we've got this material on it. So if I save, now we'll open up the material that is on this object, and we can play around with the restitution. So we're going to override the restitution combine mode, put that up to max, and then put that to 1. Save it, so that when it bounces, it should go back to where it came from, and just keep on bouncing. Okay, so that's going to keep on going and keep on bouncing. Okay, but if we run underneath it, it's going to go off axis. It's not quite what we need. So I'm just going to, where is it? We'll lock it. Overlap. Yeah, here we go. I think it's here. Okay, I'll worry about that later. I just won't run under it for now. Okay, so we've got a sphere, basic shape, simulating physics. That's what, here it is, constraints. Yeah, there we go, somewhere. So we'll constrain it on the X and Y, not on the Z. So it's freely moving on the Z as far as physics go. So even if we run under it, it will just stop like that. Okay, but constantly bounce. Right, so that's what we want. That's happy. That's going to bounce. Great. Now we need to start thinking about how we get this to do that. We could do the same thing, but we're going to do it in a different way so that we can start to script it yeah, play around with it. Okay, so in the blueprint, I'm going to start to have a look at what we can do. So I'm going to back to the blueprint. Let's put on the physical material that we've got. I called it bounce. That matches. Compile and save. And now I need to swap over to the event graph because there's a few things we're going to do. We'll start to do some scripting. I'm going to need to start with the event begin play. And what I'm going to do is, because we want to be able to use this on a keyboard, I'm actually going to do it on a couple of things. I'm going to start with doing some buttons on screen, and then I'm going to start doing some working with the input from the keyboard. So we've got this event begin play node here. So this will fire as soon as this blueprint, if it's within the scene, within the level, it will kick off this execution chain happening. So whatever I put in here, and then whatever I connect that execution node to is going to happen. Again, make sure that you're going over that introduction to blueprints, blueprint essentials. That will explain all of the foundation stuff for this. But I want to kick off an event, and I'm not going to do it directly here because I want, not just when we start. I want it to happen at various times. So I'll add what's known as a custom event, add custom event. So I'm just doing this, arranging them here. I'll give it a name. I'll call it move up. And then I want another event, add custom event. That one will be move down. So as soon as we start, I want to run the event. And move up. So as soon as this happens, we're going to move up. Yeah. So move up. As soon as that happens, I want to add a timeline. So this is a simple way of animating things. So there's a timeline. So I'm going to play this timeline as soon as the event kicks off. So as soon as we start the game, we'll get event, move up. We're going to jump to this custom event. We'll play that event. What do we want to do? We want to set the actor location. So if we set actor location like so, what do we want to do? We want a new location. We want to move it 200 on the Z axis. Yeah. Now, move down. We need to reverse from end. Yeah. So we're going moving up, moving down. So we're making a timeline that when we play is going to move the object, and then when we move down, yeah, we'll reverse it back from the end. Okay, so the timeline, let's have a look, we'll think about this. We need to add a track on the timeline. So we want something in here. And let's add a float property, because we're going to change a particular value over time. Now, here we've got our 0 point. So I'm just going to add key. Where do we want that to be? Well, time, we want that to kick off right at 0. So, as soon as we start, we'll put that time down to 0. And then we want the value to be, say, 250, like so. Now, you can use these buttons here to zoom in and zoom out. And then we're going to add another keyframe. Which will be, we just do that there, and then we'll be able to see everything in appropriately. Our second one, we want that to be about 0.5. Actually, the length of the whole animation, let's make it just 1 second for now. And then we'll put that down. So time, we'll put that at 1. I'll put that towards the end. I'm just clicking that so I can see everything we've got. Value, we'll put that down to 0. So now we've got here that one. Okay, value, we'll put that 250 start, and that one at 0. So this is what we've got. Yeah, start, first one, time 0. Yeah, value 250, and then goes down. Yeah, 0, value, if we click on that, 0, time 1. So we're taking this value, whatever it is we're feeding, and going from 0, yeah, to be 250, yeah, to then go to this slowly over time. We're interpolating and slowly decreasing that value over a second, over 1 second, yeah, length, down to 0. Okay, so compile and save. So we've got this timeline. Go back to our event graph. Let's think about how we're going to do this. The UU track, we'll actually split and then make the Z change. So if I select that and then split those, we'll put that into new location Z. So whatever's happening on the timeline, that new track, yeah, which was the Z, yeah, it's changing the Z. And then we need to know when it's finished, we'll either call one of the other functions. So if we go finished and then flip-flop. Now don't forget, you can hover over these, yeah, and they'll tell you, give you a description of what you want. This alternates between A and B outputs, starting with A. And then from here, we want to run the function again, move down. Yeah, and then here, we want to move up. Okay, so we can come, oh, let's hide that tab and save that. And let's have a look at what we got. Okay, so it's moving. Yeah. But it's moving not in relation to the other one, and it's actually moving and going down beneath the surface. So we're going to make a few little adjustments on that and take it. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so that's all at 0, 0. Event graph, timeline. Let's make some adjustments here. Let's bring the length down to 0.5. Yeah, that one can be at 0.5. Value still at 0, but if we take that, we need to bring this up a bit. Let's put that to 260. Okay. I'm just going to check why that's not, make sure that everything's centered in the viewport. Okay. Make that the root, movable, compile, save. Event graph, play. Okay, so one of the things you can do when you're looking at the graphs is just click on play and you can see what's happening. That pops up in a separate window. I'll just put it over there for now and then we can see what's happening. So when it's finished, bang, 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 move up, move down. Okay, so let's keep on going. Okay, so let's have a look. Timeline. Okay, so I want it to sort of slow down. So I'm going to curve that there. So that'll come down. And then that, I want it to be broken. And then I'm going to bring that in so that it will sort of come down and make it look a bit like it bounces a bit more. That's on down to 0. Value 0. Let's add something on that. That's 20. So I'm just trying to work out how much I need to increase that by, so that it looks like it's bouncing on the floor. It's a bit better. Looks okay. I mean, it's going through the floor, but it actually looks like it's got a bit of stretch, squash on it, which is okay. So from a sort of animations point of view, it looks okay. But I think just so that it gets roughly the same as the others, let's add on to 80 and then to 30. Save it. It's probably the. Let's have a look there. Yeah. Okay. So I think what it's going to be is, if that's 300, and if that's the same. Yeah, okay. All right, so we've got those two bouncing. They're fine. Okay, but they're not bouncing at the same rate. Let's bring that down. Let's 0.5. Okay, let's do 0.66. 0.66. Save. Okay, they're roughly the same. That's cool. I mean, we only need it so we can see what's happening. Yeah. Okay. Good. Right. There's what else? There's something wrong there because it jumps, doesn't it? It's not in its 200 position. So if I go back to the event graph, we need to set. We're setting that to 0, aren't we? We need to set that to 200. I think. Nope. We'd set it to minus 200. There you go. All right. So now they're sort of roughly in the same time. Yeah, all right. One's actually bouncing. It doesn't really matter. It's only an example. Right, okay. Okay, so that part's done. I'll just save that. We got everything. So now we need to start thinking about how we're going to control those elements. Let's just save that. Okay, so we need to start thinking about a way that we can control using clicking on the screen. So some buttons that we can put on. That's probably the best way to start. So let's add a user interface widget. Okay, so this is another type of blueprint, but it's an interface widget. And I'm going to call it widget underscore bounce UI, and then open it up. Okay, so we've got this like canvas. It's literally the bounce, and we've got a canvas panel which we can overlay things on the screen. I just compile and save, and just very quickly we'll just make sure we've got some text on there. I'm just going to randomly put that there, text block. Going to compile and save. You'll see why in a second, because I'm just going to make just load. Because if I go now and just go play, nothing happens. So I need to load the interface into the screen. Now this is, I'm going to use the level blueprint. So this is the generic one, the blueprint that exists within the level. So we're going to open the blueprint, and then again, event begin play. I don't need the event tick. I want to create that widget, which means load that widget from the library. Create widget, which is there. What is it widget we're going to choose? We've got W bounce UI, so we'll have that widget. Who's going to own it? I mean, in multiplayer situations and all the rest of it, where's it going to go? We want it to go over the current player. So I'm going to go get player controller, okay, which is there, index 0. So it's us, as it were, us looking through the viewport. So we've created the asset, we've brought it from the library. Where do we want to put it? We want to put it onto the viewport. So I'm going to type in add to viewport. Oh, easier if I just bring it out from here. Add to viewport. Yeah. Whose viewport? We want it to be want a return value here, don't we? Okay, so return value there, and then so that's just go over that. As soon as we begin, we create a widget associated with the player, and then we add it to that player's viewport. So if we compile and save that now, play, yeah, we've got that widget appearing on the screen, text block, and that's fine. So it's literally just displaying that text. But we need a way of controlling it. So I need to see the mouse. If we do that, yeah, now the mouse is gone. I'm in the game. I've clicked and that's it. So I need to set the input mode. Set input mode. We want game and UI. So both. We're going to be controlling both. We'll connect that up. We want the player controller being played. That's cool. Now I'm going to use a reroute node, so I'm just going to double click on that just so that I can bring it over there, just to keep it neat and tidy. Can't stress enough how complicated these things get. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just make sure that we're displaying the mouse cursor. So I'm going to right click, not in context sensitive this, and go set mouse cursor. We'll put it on, yeah, and then whose mouse cursor are we going to use? We will drag off from here, yeah, and then I'll double click reroute node, double click reroute node, just so that visually I can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so compile and save, play. Now we've clicked, yeah, I can play, I can run around and turn, I can click and orient the same as usual, but when I release, I actually still got a mouse. So, you know, I mean, obviously you want to be really thinking about when and how you want to do this, but I can use the mouse, I can also use the keyboard and control the character. So I am in game and UI modes. Okay, so that's important. I'm going to compile and save. Let's think about the next things. What else do we need to do? Let's get a button. Okay, so I want a button. And so from the palette, I'm just going to click and drag a button. Put that there. In fact, I want 2 buttons. Yeah, that would do. What else do we want? We want some text. We can drag onto the buttons. I'll put button 0 there, text block. Buttons 1 there, text block. So this is just the default text in there. Now on the button, I'm going to select that. We've got some controls for it here. So I want size to content. Okay, so it will just extend to the width of whatever text is in there. And then in the text, I'm going to call that one speed up. Or the text, not call it, we'll actually write the text speed up. And then here, text block, we'll put that as slow down. Okay, so we've got buttons, speed up and slow down. Compile and save, press play. Here we go. Speed up, so we can see we've got the widget. Speed up, yeah, nothing is happening, but they're active. We know they're active because you can scroll over them. And this is just the default behavior of some of the buttons. Obviously, you know, the look and feel of all of these can be completely scripted to be and perform as you want. Now, one of the things that we had in our brief, if I remember rightly, was a timer, a countdown, so that it would only last for a particular amount of time. So we've got some things to do here as well. We're going to have another text block. Actually, we've got one there, haven't we? Don't need that. We'll call it time remaining. Time remaining, colon, maybe that'll do. And then I want a variable here. We want some other type of text block, which will, we'll link in to something else, and you know, create a variable so that we can put something here. So put that there, text block. But let's think about what we're going to do. I want a variable which is like seconds. So I'll go back to the graph, and this is the area within the widget. I've got my two buttons here, but we've got more options for variables. One of them I'm going to add in, so I'm just going to click here, create a new variable. I'll call it seconds. Now, I don't want it to be a Boolean type. You can see the details of that variable here. You can see these are just normal buttons. A button is you hover over it, it'll give you the description. That's a Boolean. I don't want a Boolean. I want a number. I'm going to use an integer. So seconds. Okay, so that's cool there. Save that. Make sure you're saving everything all of the time. I'll swap back into my my designer view. Notice we've got graph and designer here. And then I'm going to bind that text block to seconds. So whatever seconds is set to, it should appear in that block there. So compile and save. Time remaining 0. Okay, so it's set at 0 to begin with. So the default for that variable, 0. All right, so what else do we need to do? I mean, still quite a bit, unfortunately. So let's get back to, I think that's it sort of for the design view for now. Let's start having a look at some of these graphs and think about what we're going to do. First thing we need to do in the designer, in the graph, is we're going to, let's get rid of that. Okay, so we'll enable some of these buttons first. First of all, the bouncy ball, we're going to have to reference it because obviously we want to control it. So event construct, I'm going to get a reference, a link to the bouncing ball, the blueprint that I'm going to control. So I'm going to go get all actors of class. So I'm going to get an array. This is a function to get an array. See, it's a function. We've got this all here. Find all actors in the world of a specified class. This is a slow operation. Use with caution. Don't use it every frame. So no, I'm not going to use it every frame. I'm just going to use it right as soon as this UI widget appears on the screen, which is once. What class are we going to do? We've got bounce. What do we call it? Oh. BP underscore sphere. Here we go. BP underscore sphere. So we got all classes of our sphere, which we can see sitting here. So we get all of those that we created. Now we're going to set a reference to that. So I'm going to create a variable. This is going to be our what should we call it? Just a bouncing ball. It's not a variable. We know what it is. It's one of these. So I'm going to set the type to BP underscore sphere. That'll be one of those. Bouncing ball. And then I want to set that, because this is the one that we're talking to. So we'll just make this reference. Our bouncing ball we'll get context sensitive. Actors, no, not that one. Okay, so which function is it? Right element. Okay, so I'm just looking for the right function or the right get to copy function array get. Should that be it? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we get the array from the actors. We'll get one element from the array, so the range of actors in there. I know that I've only got one. Arrays always start with 0, so we'll get 0. Put that in there, bouncing ball, and we'll set our bouncing ball that we can control to the one that's sitting in the level. Okay. I'm also going to set seconds to 5. You know, it's at default, it's set to 0. So I'm going to set the number of seconds to 5. So we've got 5 seconds on our countdown timer right from the start. So if we do that, play, we've got our buttons, we've got our bouncing balls, we've got our timer that's set. Okay, we can control our cap, but we can also release and then still use the UI. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick break there, and then we'll move on. I mean, basically now we're at the starting line. We've set up the project to what it needs to be. We've got our interface, we've got our level blueprint. Okay, so we're calling everything appropriately, putting the widget on the top. We've got our overlay with the buttons that we need and our countdown timer. We've got some functionality that sets everything up to begin with. We've got our sphere that we're controlling, moving up and down, and this is our level, and this is our object that's just showing us, a normal time that we're not going to control. So yeah, we're ready to start going. As I say, I'm just going to have a quick break. Okay, all right, let's have a look at part 2. Right, let's see where we got to. Okay, so that's the level blueprint. I think what we're going to have to do, I think probably the best thing to do is to actually start enabling some interactivity on the buttons. As you see, nothing's happening at the moment. We'll worry about the keyboard in a minute. We'll do that later. We'll get it working with these keys, these buttons, first, and then we'll just use the same for the keys. Right, okay, so how are we going to do that? Let's head over to our widget. So we've got this is our HUD, this is our widget that overlays the screen. We've set the variables and we've got a reference here to our ball, so we've set that up. What we need to do now is add some functionality to the buttons. So I'm going to take button 0. Button 0 is the top one. I should really name these, to be honest. It's always good practice to name them, but I'm not going to bother to do that now. And I'm going to add, we've got events on these buttons here, the variables. We're going to go on hovered. Yeah, so on hovered button 0. What do we want to do? We want to run a custom function. As I say, we're going to do this in, get the buttons, getting the keyboard to do it as well. So rather than do it directly here, we'll just run a custom event. But I need to create it first. So I'm going to add a custom event. This one we'll call this speed up, I think. So when we hover over the speed up button, we speed up. So, okay, so we've got that. And then when we on hover, we're going to type in speed up, call function speed up. Okay, so it's when we hover over button 0, look at button 0. Button 0 is that one, speed up. Back into the graph, speed up, we run this function. Now, just to make sure that that works, so just to demonstrate, put a print string. The default is saying hello. So what should happen if we compile and save that and click on play? When we hover over button 0, we'll call the speed up function. That's the speed up event there. So when we'll call that, and then it will print something to the screen. Okay, so we can do that. I'll click on the window to make sure that I'm active there. Hover over speed up. Hello is being fired. Okay, so we know that that function is running. Okay, so that's good. Now, what else do we want to do? We want to sort of set up all of the buttons so that they do something. Right, on hovered, we got that one. Button 0, we want on unhovered. We'll put that there as well. Yeah, so we want to set it back to normal when we come off the button. And then, so that's button 0. Button 1, we want on hovered. And we also want on unhovered. So just so that we're keeping everything together, we'll move those up to there. Move that down. Okay, so we want on the on hovered for here, we want this one to be slow down. So I'm going to create another event here. Add custom event. Call that slow down. If I actually just change that, I'll go speed up. Print string. Slow down. So I'll replace the function with this, or the actual functionality later, but we just need to know that everything is firing okay, everything is working. Right, so slow down, save, compile, go, speed up. Right, slow down, it's not happening. Why is that not happening? Oh, I haven't put that on, have I? Right, so on hovered button 1, slow down. Okay, so then now that fires, which will fire that function, so now that should work. We are going to need to do another one. Yeah, speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. Okay, that's good. The last one I think we're going to need to add on is a back to normal speed. So I'm going to add custom event. We'll call that normal speed. Adding a print string. Okay, normal. Normal speed. Okay. Now on here we want on unhovered. On unhovered, we want to go to normal. So we want to set it back to wherever. So normal speed there. That one there. When we unhover, we want to go to normal. Just neaten that up so that everything is. Just one thing you might want to do is make sure that you align left, and just sort of making sure everything is neat and tidy. It does matter when you come back to try and work out how on earth you did something 6 months later. Just keep everything organised and nice and neat. So I'm just moving that around. One of the things you can do is comments, these little boxes, just so that you can group everything. We can call it custom events. Custom events, and then we can have there, press C, button actions. Okay, so that just helps you keep everything normal. That one will need the event tick. I'll keep that there. That one, C, initialize, that's the startup. Okay, so that's sort of, but then it means you can very easily just move the whole block around like that. So you might want to get into the habit of doing that as much as you can. All right, just save that, compile it. Right, what else do you want to do? We might as well have a look at the keyboard commands now, which can start to get those. I think from that we're going to have a look at the level, and the level blueprint. But we'll have to go into here. We'll go into project settings. That will pop up this dialog here, and I might as well dock that up there for now. And then I'll come down here and choose input. Now we've got these action mappings. So these are key bindings that we can think about. We've got a jump and reset VR in there by default. I'm going to add one in there. I'm going to call that fast. And then the key for that, I'm going to use page up. I'm going to use page up and page down just so that I'm not playing around with WASD or anything else that's mapped for the player character. So we're going to add another one. I'll call this slow. And that will be page down. Page down. So we've linked those in. I don't need to save that. That's already done. Now, if I go back to the level blueprint, so this is here, the level blueprint, not the widget or anything else. Now we should be able to find those, those things that we've just added in, fast and slow. So let's see if we can get that. Fast, yeah, action events, fast. Yeah, we've got that. And slow. Yeah. So we've got that. We don't want that one. That's within the widget. We're just the action events are responding from the keyboard. And then we need to plug it into the widget because this is not in the level. We need to go into the widget and then start to call the functions, the custom events that we've set up from this widget. So here, what we want to do is we've created the widget here and put it on the screen, but we need to sort of what's known as casting to it to access its functionality. So on pressed, just going to bring that out and go cast to, and we might be able to find it. Yeah, here you go. Cast to W bounce UI, which is fine. We'll just put this reference in here so that we know it's that one that we're talking to. Now, may come back with a warning, but I'm not concerned about that for this. And we'll just copy and paste that. If you've got something that works, copy and paste it. You can do that with blueprints. It's all quite easy. So slow, we'll cast to that, but we obviously need to call a different function. I'll bring that down there as well. Actually, one of the good things about reroute nodes is you could bring that back there and then bring out another one like so. So we get 2 coming out of 1. Just trying to keep everything nice and neat and tidy. Now, from here, we need to look for something within our widget. So I'm going to drag out from here, which is the as WBounce UI, so our widget, our HUD. We're going to call this speed up function. Okay, so we've got that. So as soon as you press the key, we'll look into the widget and then call the function that we've created there. That one will do the slow down. Okay, so that will slow down. Now, we've also got a normal, back to normal. We did that within the widget. We did it with unhovered when we come off the button. Now, we want to do it not when we press the button, but when we release the button. So let's copy that. Well, actually, yeah, I'll copy that. Now, we don't need to do anything. We'll just take the on released, bring that down, on released, bring that down. That's fine. And then we'll do exactly the same. We'll bring that out and then go normal speed. And that will hopefully, if we compile it and save it. Okay, we've got an error here. Haven't put that down. Okay, so we can see that we've got some, and then we've got these warnings here, which is not a problem. Okay, file, save. That's fine. Click on play. So speed up, good. Back to normal speed. Slow down, off, back to normal speed. Press the page up key. Okay, nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? Let me just have a look at this. So we've got something not quite right. Boom, boom, boom. That's going. Speed up, calling the widget. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, okay, simple. I just didn't activate the window by clicking on it because obviously we're in game mode. So make sure that we're active and we're actually in the game mode. And then page up, page down. Slow down, normal speed. Speed up, normal speed. Okay, so we're okay. We're getting there. We can use the keyboard to speed up and slow down, and we can call those functions, and we can use these buttons just by hovering over them to change the speed. Right, so that means we can make sure we save all of that. I don't need the project settings anymore, that's fine. But what we need to do is actually do something a bit more on these custom events. We need to actually create some functionality. The on tick, I will worry about that later because that's going to be important for the timer, I think. But let's start to work out how these are going to operate. Okay, we can't. I'll keep those on there. We'll just build them out of that. That's fine. Right. So the first thing we want to do when we go to speed up is set a custom time dilation. Custom time dilation. Where is it? Maybe out of context sensitive. Custom. There we go. Set custom time dilation. Okay. So what this will do, we'll start to factor in to our tick events, our time, the updates that we're having, the frames per second, and start to factor them differently. So if we put in there 4, it will speed up. If we put in there 0.2, let's say, it will slow down. So that's what we'll try. We'll say set custom time dilation, but of what? Yeah, what target? We could do it globally, and there's actually a separate function to do that. We'll just use the bouncing ball. So I'll drag that in and get. We have set that reference earlier, which is here. Yeah, get all actors, get our bouncing ball. Yeah, we've set our our countdown timer. So we've got that. Let's put that in there. So that should run when this function speed up is enacted. So if we do that, set time dilation, we'll speed it up 4. Let's say, compile, save, go. Yeah, so speed up, boom, boom, boom. There we go. Right. Obviously, we've got no other functionality now, and our timer's not going or anything, but we've just sped him up. But we know it's working. Slow down, haven't got anything. But let's do slow down. So we can just copy and paste that. Copy and paste. Yeah. Slow down, we'll put that to 0.25. We can use that, don't need to have that multiple times. And then normal, copy and paste that again. And then put that to, make sure that connects. Put that to 1. And then connect our target. There we go. Put that there, bring that out. It's going to be, we've got a few things to do after that, so I'll bring that right on. And there we go. What I tend to do is these things, just don't set them all just like that. Bring those down here. Yeah, bring those in. Maybe a line on the left, like so. Okay, so let's give that a go. Compile, save, play. Right, so nothing's happening. Speed up. Stop, back to normal. Slow down. Yeah, back to normal. And off from back to normal. Keys, page up. Oh, I need to click on it, make sure we're doing that. So speed up when I press. Speed up when I press. Release, stop when I release, slow down when I press, speed back up again when I release. So yeah, okay, so we're there. We know those functions are definitely running, which is good. So notice I'm very much getting in the habit of testing everything as I go along. Yeah, fundamentally important. Okay, so I think what we need is we need to sort of have an indication of. Well, let's not actually. We won't worry about that. I don't need to have a sort of a description of a display up on the screen as to what the current speed is. I could do that. It would be important for debugging when I'm going to show you an example, I think, right at the end where something like this might come in handy. So you might want to have these visual displays up. I'm not going to bother now because we can see the speed of the ball bouncing up and down, so that's enough. But what we do need is we need a variable because we need to think about the timer now. What I suggest we do, let's just move that down. Why is that not working? There we go. So let's think about creating a variable, and it's going to be a Boolean because we need to know if we're time adjusted or if we're normal. Yeah, because if we're normal, we'll reset the counter. Yeah, but if we're time adjusted, something's happening. You know, the countdown time is going to go down because we want 5 seconds where that function is available to us, and then it will stop. So let's create a variable. This one's going to be a Boolean, so it'll be just a yes/no state. So we'll make it Boolean, and we're going to call it is time adjusted. It is time adjusted, and we'll drag that in and we'll set it. So if we're speeded up, yeah, time is adjusted, so we'll set that to yes. Yeah. If there was the same, time is adjusted. Absolutely on that one. So we're slowing down. Time is definitely adjusted. This one though, if it's normal, we won't adjust the time. We'll keep it not selected, so off. So we're saying no, time is not adjusted. Time is adjusted, time is adjusted, time is not adjusted. So we're setting this variable, this state. So every time we're pressing a key or hovering over the button, it's saying yes, time is adjusted. Every time we're not pressing a key or not hovering over one of those buttons, we're saying time is not adjusted. Okay, now this is where we need to think about the on-tick event so that we can do things with the timer to see what we can do. Right. So first of all, what we're actually going to do is just set a delay in here because we want to slow this down because we don't want seconds to go past in milliseconds. So we're just going to slow it right down, and we'll put a 1 second delay on each tick. So it will happen every second. Now we want an if, and we want to know if time is adjusted. So I'm going to go if. It's known as a branch in UE4, and we want the condition to be is time adjusted. Yeah, so we get that variable. So we need to check whether or not time is adjusted, and then if time is adjusted true, yeah, we need to start to play around with seconds, and we need to sort of decrease the amount of seconds that are available. So I'm just going to bring in seconds. We'll get seconds. And then we want to, we have a look. Yeah, decrement the integer. So we've got here, we know we set it up as an integer or integer, however you want to pronounce it. And then we're going to use this, which is the decrement, which will minus 1 from here. Okay, so if it's true, its time is adjusted, we'll minus 1 from the available seconds. Yeah, and then we'll set the seconds variable. Yeah, so we'll update the screen. So minus 1 from it, and then we'll set it back to that number. Yeah, like so. So if I compile and save that, play. Yeah, so if we speed up, 5, we say over here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, but we're not actually doing anything with it at the moment. We're just going down, and that's it. So we need to build in some functionality that when we stop, we reset it. Or whether when it reaches 0, we reset it. So that, again, that's quite straightforward. We'll just do another branch. So I'm going to pull that out and just go if. So I'll put the branch there. And then seconds, we'll do that, seconds. Get seconds, whatever that seconds number is. And then we'll go equal. Now it's the integer, but we want one of these. Yeah, we want this one. Less than or equals to. This will give us a value. So we could say 10, we could say whatever, and shift to another state. You know, if it was after 2 seconds remaining, we can find something, another branch, and then flash up a warning or something. But we're just going to keep it on 0 for this example. So if we're less than or equal to 0, what are we going to do? We are going to fire off the action normal speed. Okay, so here we go. Speed up 5, 4. Oh. Okay, so we've got a slight issue here because it's what's going on. We've got normal speed. Yeah, -1. Slow down. Okay, so let's try and work out what's going on. That's our event tick. Let me just move that up there. Okay. Okay, so let's just have a look. Let's have a look at what's going on. Speed up. Okay. So normal, I think what we need to do is we need to actually set the seconds back to 5. When we go back to normal, let's save, run that over. Okay, so it's not, let's try and work out what's going on. Key press. Speed up. Okay, so it's calling normal early. Okay, so why is it calling normal early? Okay, so let's have a look here. Event tick, delay, duration 1, is time adjusted. All right, let's just have a look. Okay, so I think it's something here because we're not. Oh, okay, let's plug that into there. Get rid of that one. Hold down the Alt key. Just swap that over. So seconds is less than or equal to 0. Let's see what that does. There you go. Speed up. Yeah, okay, right, there we go. Until we're off, speed down. Let's get the counter. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slow down, go back to normal. Slow down. 5, 4, 3, 2, off. Speed back up again. Speed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 seconds. Then let's do it again until we go over. Okay, so we've got a countdown and we've got a slow down. Yeah, timer going down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then speed back up again. Let's see if this works with the keyboard. Page up. Oh, I need to make sure I'm clicking on it. There you go. Speed up for 5 seconds. Yeah, we'll only allow that for 5 seconds. Slow down, 5 seconds. Timer starts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there we go, and then back to normal. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's just have a look at the brief again, I suppose. What was it we were trying to do? Can you make a video on how to create a slow motion function? So we've done that using a timer that deactivates the function. Yeah, we've done that when the time runs out, so we've got 5 seconds, and using a player button to hold input and release for manual activation and deactivation. Okay, right. So yeah, I think we've done it. That works. I think the important thing to do would be to I mean, we're just jumping straight in now. So if we go that, it's suddenly bing, speeds up, and then slows down, speeds up, slows down. You know, what you would want is a acceleration and deceleration. So you want to affect the way that speed change happens. And that is quite important. And I'll just show you this example here, which you may or may not have seen before, but it's ultimately this root motion controller. So this is a project I'm working on at the moment. If we look, I've got the same again. I've got sort of a HUD with some variables on the top so I can control and see what's going on behind the scenes. It's only a debug HUD, so I can just provide some information. And if I press the keys, you can see true, forward is going. If you look at my speed, I've got speed 2. Now I've programmed the shift key. So if we press and hold that, yeah, look, we gradually increase and we sort of speed up, yeah, to get up to our maximum speed of 3. If I come down, then we slow down, yeah, and then the same with walk. If I hold down the right control, you know, we can slow down here and watch the speed number right at the top there. It's probably easier if I do that. You can see it right at the top of the screen. So slowly speeding up and then slowing down, you know, as we go. So there's a lot of that happening, which is pretty good, because obviously we need to lean as well. If you look at the target directions, don't want to run off the edge. If we look at the direction, we never just snap to any numbers. We're always slowly easing, accelerating and decelerating to the particular numbers, and that means we can do stuff. You know, we can run along. And then we can do an about turn as well and turn different ways. You know, if we go like that, it's a bit, I haven't smoothed the animation really between all of the different scenes, but if you look, eventually we'll suddenly turn around and go that way. So that smoothing is really important, and that's what I would add next. That would be my next thing. You know, again, I'll just show you this as well. You know, if we get over here, you know, the way that we position bones and things and make sure that they're appropriately aligned to the floor, you know, again, it's done with easing and slowly moving values rather than, you know, snapping values, which is something that, again, you don't want to do. So if we stand on a hill, yeah, you know, if we're looking at the feet, okay, stuff like this. So nothing's ever, you know, a straightforward, and nothing's ever a, you know, a consistent number change. You know, everything needs to move, needs to slide backwards and forwards. Okay, so well, that's where I'm going to leave it. Hope you find that interesting. So this is our full project. Play. If we speed up, bing. If we slow down, there you go, with the timer. And obviously, you know, easing, accelerating that in, slowing it down, you know, that would be the next way to take this. Also, don't forget, once we've got this functionality, we can apply the same thing on any single object. So like a bullet, you know, a projectile coming towards us, you know, it could slow it down for X amount of seconds to get out of the way, or you know, speed it up. You know, a whole host of different things. You know, controlling objects in you know, the time of an object in a game. All right, okay. So thank you very much. Any questions? Give me a shout. But also don't forget, you know, there's a whole series on Electric Monk about how to, you know, how to use blueprints, an introductory level on how to get stuff done in blueprints. Okay, cheers.